Okay, hello guys. Okay, we are doing 7.2. It's the Pendulum Basics. So what we're going to be doing this time is understanding how to use that formula I gave you on 7.1. Okay, there's your dad joke for the day if you want to read it. It's the greatest. I'm practicing. Okay, so what's the difference between period and frequency? Okay, we spoke about this on 7.1. Remember, period is the time it takes to complete one oscillation. So the time it takes to go back and forth. The time it takes, and that would be in seconds, right? And then a frequency is how many oscillations occur in 1 second. Yeah? And let's just write what the units are for these things. I'm going to go back real quick. So we can have it here. Okay, so the period is the time, so it's in seconds, right? And then the frequency is the number of cycles or oscillations in 1 second. Yeah? And the units for that are hertz. We denote them as Hz. Okay, it's named after some dude. I personally hate this. I think the units should be cycles per second, which is much easier to understand than hertz. But this dude Hertz that came up with it apparently thought it was cooler to name it after himself than leave it as a simplified version, which I would have done. So I can't hate the guy for it. Okay, you want your name embroidered into history. Okay, so remember, cycles per second is really hertz. Okay, so let's go forward. Okay, so if the period of a pendulum is 3 seconds, what is its frequency? Okay, now I didn't show you how to determine this. It's a simple formula, okay? There's a simple formula to switch between period and frequency, okay? So if I give you period and I ask for frequency, here's the formula. Remember, T is period, stands for time, equals 1 over frequency. It's about as easy of a formula as you can have. So if the period of the pendulum is 3 seconds, what is the frequency? Well, if I want frequency, now I'm solving for frequency, right? I want to solve for F. So what I have here is let's mess around with this formula. I want to solve for F. Remember, when you have something on the bottom, you can just flip-flop these bad boys, okay? So it can be frequency is equal to 1 over period, okay? And so look at these two formulas. They basically look like the same thing, and it solves for the other thing. So if you want frequency would be 1 over 3, or 0.333, yeah. And since it's frequency, that would be hertz, 0.333 hertz. Okay, so let's do the next one here. If the period of a pendulum is 0.5 seconds, what is the frequency? Okay, well, I have period, it's 0.5, and I want frequency, so I'm going to use that formula I just created, 1 over t, so frequency is equal to 1 over 0.5, and if you do that on a calculator, you're going to end up with 2, and the units for frequency is hertz. It hurts to write hertz, because it should be cycles per second. Yeah, it hurts. I know, bad jokes. Okay, going forward. Okay, if the frequency of a pendulum is 2 seconds, what is the period? Okay, so it's the same. It's basically the same thing I just asked for, but I flipped it. So now I want period, so that would just be the T is 1 over frequency. I'd be using that formula. And that is 1 over frequency is 2 seconds. So it would be 0.5, and period is measured in seconds, right? So that would mean it completes 1 cycle in 0.5 seconds. It goes back and forth, and it did that in half a second. Okay, that's what a period is, right? Period is how much time it takes to complete 1 cycle. So you just need to continuously tell yourself what's the difference between period and frequency. Period is time to complete 1 cycle. Frequency is number of oscillations per every 1 second. Yeah? Okay. Let's go forward and use that formula that we had. Okay, let's see here. What is the world's largest pendulum? How much time does it take to complete 1 cycle? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use my formula that I gave you on the 7.1. Its period is equal to 2 pi square root of L over G. Okay, now remember what all these stand for. That stands for time. It's measured in seconds, right? The L stands for the length of the pendulum. So like how long it is, basically like how long is the string is an easy way to think of it. And it's measured in meters. And then G is gravity. And if we are doing this on Earth, then our gravity will always be 9.8 meters per second squared, yeah? So what is the world's largest pendulum, and how much time does it take to complete one cycle? Okay, let's just find out what the world's largest pendulum is real quick. I'm just gonna go to the internet because they do stuff like this. World's largest pendulum. Like guys, they make these things as like things to do. Like there's a giant swing. Like a swing is a pendulum, right? So that could be like a world's largest pendulum would be a giant swing. And I don't know what's taking so long. Okay, so the world's largest pendulum, lengths of 2 steel piano wires. This is not what I'm looking for. Maybe it is. It's 1,353 meters long. Okay, that's huge. Okay, so there we go. We got the length of the pendulum. Okay, 1,353.3 meters. Wow. I'm just going to round that to 1,350 meters, okay? So let's go back here. Okay, so I have the length of the pendulum. The length of the pendulum is 1,000, darn it, I don't remember what it was. Let me go back to it. It's 1,350. 1,350. Okay, here we go. So the length of the pendulum is 1,350 meters, okay? So how long does it take to complete one cycle? So like if they started moving this thing, how long would it take to go from one end to the other and back to its original position, right? Okay, we're going to use our formula. 2 pi square root of L over G. I know L, it's that. That's the length of the pendulum string. And I know G, we're on Earth, it's 9.8. So let's just plug all our stuff in. 2 pi square root of 1,350 over 9.8. Okay, and you're just going to plug that into a calculator. Okay, I'm going to do that on my handy dandy calculator right here in front of me here. Okay, and I will show you what I get. So it's going to be 2 times pi times square root of 1,350 over 9.8. And I got 73, you can't see it on there, 73.74. So 73.74 seconds. So it's going to take over a minute for something of that length, which is very, very long, yeah, to complete one cycle. Okay, so you're just using the formula on that one. On the question, on the worksheet, what I would do is I would give you the length and I would ask you to find the period, okay? So let's go to the next one here. Okay, if I was to make a grandfather clock, as you can see over here on the right, I would want it to have a period of 1 second. So it would go back and forth in 1 second. So every time it completed a cycle, I would know 1 second had passed. What would the length of the pendulum need to be? So what would the length of this rod need to be in order for me to have a grandfather clock that when it goes there and back, it takes 1 second? Yeah. So I'm going to use that same formula. Let me bring it up here. T equals 2 pi square root of L over G. Okay, now if you notice here, what I am looking to solve for is the length. Yeah, I know the time. The time is 1 second. I want it to be 1 second. So I know this. I want the length and I know G. So what I need to do is on this formula is solve for L. Now, so let's walk through on how to do that. First thing you want to do is to solve for L is to divide by the 2 pi. Okay, so we're going to divide both sides by 2 pi, and that'll cancel it from this side. And we got time divided by 2 pi is equal to square root of L over G. Okay, next thing we want to do to solve for L is to get rid of this square root. So we're going to square both sides. Okay, so now I have L over G is equal to T over 2 pi squared. And then I'm solving for L, so the last thing I got to do is move the G over. So I just multiply by G, and I get L is equal to T over 2 pi all squared times G. And there's the formula to solve for the length of a pendulum given the period and gravity. Okay? And so since I have those things, I'll just plug those numbers in and I'll know how long my pendulum would need to be. So L is going to be equal to, my period is 1 second, so 1 over 2 pi squared times gravity, which is 9.8. And I'll just type that into my handy dandy calculator and see what I get as an answer. It turns on for me. Okay, so it is 1 divided by 2 times pi. Oops. 2 times pi all squared times 9.8. And what I get is a length of 0.248. Oh man, ignore that thing that I just put there. 0.248, and it's a length, right? So my units are going to be meters. So that's the length I would need my pendulum to be to complete a cycle every 1 second. So every time it went back and forth, I would know that 1 second occurred. So I need to make sure that my pendulum was that length. Okay, so that's the formula you would use right here if I give you period and gravity and I'm asking you for length. Yeah, you would use the original one if I give you length and gravity and I ask for period, right? Now there's still one more thing to do. What if I ask you to solve for gravity? Yeah? So that's what my next question is here, is the only thing we haven't solved for is gravity. So just in case you need to use this formula to solve for G on the worksheet, then let's do it. So I'm going to take my formula. T is equal to 2 pi square root L over G. Okay, we're going to solve for G. So it's still going to be the first steps that we had before. Divide by 2 pi. So we got T period over 2 pi is equal to square root of L over G. Okay, well, next thing I still need to do is get rid of that square root, so I'm going to square it. Okay, so I'm going to have L over G is equal to T over 2 pi all squared. Okay, now here's where I would think you guys might have a problem solving for G. But I kind of showed you guys something earlier. Remember when I said period is equal to 1 over frequency? And I said, oh, if you want to solve for this, thing on the bottom, you can just flip these two, right? And I said frequency is equal to 1 over period. Yeah, because I just flipped them. You can use that same trick here. You can take this whole thing and just flip it with the bottom thing, like we did over here, and you'll get your answer for G. So G is equal to L over T over 2 pi all squared. Yeah? And there's a formula for it. If you want it to look nicer, I will do it to make it look nicer. But this gets your work done. This will get you the answer, yeah? But if you're interested, you can stick around and find out how to make this look nicer. If not, go forward, do the worksheet, turn it in, and be done. But if you're having problems getting the correct answer when you're doing the worksheet, come back and see how you make this look nicer, okay? So I'll make it look nicer now. Okay, so G is equal to. Now what I have is L over. Now what I can do with this is I can square each of the things inside of it. So I can make it T squared over 2 squared would be 4, and pi squared. See how I squared every single thing? I squared T, I squared 2, and I squared pi. Yeah? And now what I have is this weird fraction over fraction thing. Let's put L over 1 so I actually have it as a fraction over fraction. And then this times this will be my new numerator. So I have L times 4 times pi squared all over 1 times t squared. That's my new denominator. And this is the nice way of writing it. And remember, it's all solved for g. So that will find the gravity of anything that you're given. So basically, you've learned 4 formulas, or I guess 5. There's one of the formulas, there's another formula, there's another formula, and the original formula I showed you, which was t equals 2 pi square root of L over g, and then the formula where this was solved for L on the previous slide. And that's everything. I hope you enjoyed and understood everything on the PowerPoint. Get the work done.